In a world where human relationships often seem complex, confusing, and sometimes even fleeting, there is a profound spiritual truth that can offer us inner peace and renewed meaning. The conviction that Allah, in His infinite wisdom, connects certain souls with one another. This divine connection goes beyond mere chance or coincidence. It is a sign that something greater is at work in our lives. You may have wondered why, at a specific moment, someone called you by a name or said a word that resonated deeply with you, or why certain people enter your life unexpectedly to play an important role. It is often these seemingly innocuous moments that carry a powerful spiritual message. They reveal that behind every encounter, every call, lies a connection orchestrated by Allah. Understanding these signs is crucial because it can transform the way we perceive our relationships. Instead of seeing human encounters as mere coincidences, we can consider them divine encounters, bridges between hearts that God has carefully woven. This topic is important because it reminds us that we are never alone, and that invisible forces work to unite those who need to be united for their own good and that of those around them. In this video, we will explore these signs together, these subtle but powerful clues that show that Allah connects people. You will discover how to recognize these messages and, above all, how to welcome them into your life to better understand your spiritual and human path. Prepare to open your heart and mind, because what you are about to learn could change your perception of relationships and guide you towards lasting inner peace. Spiritual context and the meaning of the name Allah. In the Islamic faith, the name Allah does not simply refer to one God among others, but to the ultimate reality, the one being, the creator of all that exists. The word Allah comes from the Arabic root ilah, which means God or divinity, and the prefix al means the. Thus, Allah literally means the God, the one who is unique, incomparable, and absolute. The meaning of Allah goes far beyond mere name. He is the very essence of divinity, embodying all perfect qualities: omniscience, omnipotence, infinite mercy, justice, and wisdom. For Muslim believers, Allah is the starting and conclusion of all things, the only one worthy of worship. His name is sacred and carries immense spiritual power, as it embodies the divine presence in all dimensions of life. It is this uniqueness that makes the name of Allah particularly powerful. When this name is pronounced with faith and awareness, it creates a direct connection between the believer and the divine. It is like a spiritual key that opens the doors to inner peace, protection from evil, and guidance in times of uncertainty. The Quran repeatedly emphasizes that remembering Allah soothes the heart. Those who believe and whose hearts find rest in the remembrance of Allah. Surah Ar-Ra'd 13:28. This shows that simply invoking the name of Allah can transform a person's emotional and spiritual state. But this powerful name is not only used for individual worship. It also plays a profound role in connecting believers. The name of Allah is what unites the Muslim community across the world, despite the diversity of languages, cultures, and traditions. By turning to Allah, believers share a common source of faith and hope that transcends all human differences. This connection is evident in collective prayer, where millions of people gather 5 times a day, reciting the name of Allah together in perfect unity. It is also expressed in Islamic brotherhood, ukhuwa, which is based on the fact that every believer is a brother or sister in faith, bound to others by their shared submission to Allah. Thus, this name becomes a powerful spiritual bond, a vehicle of love, solidarity, and mutual support. Moreover, in times of distress or joy, the name of Allah is often a refuge and a source of gratitude. For example, when someone calls another by invoking the name of Allah or says, Insha'Allah, God willing. It signifies that all things are in the hands of Allah, and that this divine will guides the destiny of beings. In short, the name of Allah is not just a word spoken out of habit or tradition. It is a living reality, an invisible bridge that connects the Creator to His creatures and unites believers with each other in an unbreakable spiritual brotherhood. Understanding this power gives new meaning to the way we perceive human relationships and prepares the ground for recognizing these divine connections in our own lives. 2. Concept of divine connection between people. In many spiritual traditions, including Islam, there is a deep belief that God is not only the distant creator of the universe, but also the active agent who connects human beings through invisible and sacred bonds. This divine connection goes beyond mere social or emotional interactions. It is a manifestation of the will and wisdom of Allah, who chooses to bring certain souls together for very specific reasons. The idea that God connects people is based on the principle that nothing happens by chance. Every encounter, every call, every connection has a spiritual meaning and purpose. Allah, in His omnipotence, guides the paths of individuals to build bridges between them, often through subtle signs that only the attentive can perceive. This connection can be expressed in different forms: a deep friendship, a spiritual alliance, support in times of trial, or even sincere love. The Quran mentions that the hearts of believers are united by Allah. Allah unites their hearts. Surah Al-Anfal 8:63. This phrase emphasizes that spiritual connection does not depend solely on external circumstances, but on an inner bond that God creates and maintains. It is an invisible but powerful form of unity, which gives strength and cohesion to those who participate in it. Spiritual and theological examples reinforce this idea. Among them, the history of the prophets often illustrates how Allah brought people together around a common message, despite apparent differences. For example, the brotherhood between the companions of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, shows that the shared faith is a bond stronger than any ties of blood or material gain. Another example is the phenomenon of barakah, divine blessing that accompanies certain human relationships. When Allah connects two people, He instills in their relationship a form of peace, mutual support, and spiritual growth. This blessing allows those involved to help each other, understand each other deeply, and progress together in faith. But how can we feel this divine connection? It's not always easy, as it often manifests itself in subtle and internal ways. Here are some signs that this connection exists: inner peace in the presence of another, a feeling of being understood without the need for words, shared guidance toward good deeds, or synchronicities that bring lives closer together. Sometimes, this connection is felt in times of difficulty, when the other appears to be a providential support, or when a deep intuition prompts us to renew a bond despite distance or time. It is a feeling that soothes the heart and uplifts the soul, a sense that this relationship is written or permitted by Allah. To cultivate this connection, it is essential to open one's heart to spirituality through prayer, remembrance of Allah, dhikr, and patience. By developing this spiritual dimension, we become more sensitive to divine signs and can better recognize the connections God weaves in our lives. In short, the divine connection between people is a profound spiritual reality where Allah acts as an invisible bond, uniting souls for a sacred purpose. Understanding and experiencing this connection transforms our approach to human relationships, seeing them not as mere chance encounters, but as divine encounters full of meaning and blessings. 3. Signs that Allah connects two people. When Allah decides to connect two souls, He often uses subtle but powerful signs to reveal this divine connection. These signs are not always obvious at first glance, but with sincere attention and an open heart, they become clear and unforgettable. Here is a detailed list of the main signs, accompanied by in-depth explanations and inspiring stories. 1. Repeated synchronicities. One of the first signs that two people are connected by Allah is synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that seem beyond mere chance. For example, thinking of someone and receiving a call or message from them shortly afterward, or repeatedly finding one another in unexpected circumstances, such as chance encounters that recur frequently. These synchronicities are a way that Allah uses to draw the attention of hearts and remind us that their paths are destined to cross. They are a sign that spiritual destiny is in motion. Inspiring story. Fatima, a pious young woman, remembered thinking many times about a long-lost childhood friend. One day, for no apparent reason, she received a message from him. They rekindled their friendship, and this bond became a major source of spiritual support for her. She interpreted these synchronicities as proof that Allah wanted them to reunite for a greater purpose. 2. Inner peace in the presence of each other. When Allah connects two people, a deep peace naturally settles between them. This feeling goes far beyond mere sympathy. In each other's presence, one feels a tranquility of heart, a serenity that calms doubts and worries. This peace is a powerful sign that the relationship is blessed, for Allah promises tranquility to those who draw closer by His will, those who believe and whose hearts find rest in the remembrance of Allah. Surah Ar-Ra'd 13:28. Inspirational story. Yusuf recounted that every time he reunited with his cousin, even after many years of separation, he felt a profound calm feeling. This peace gave him the strength to face his personal challenge, convinced that their bond was divinely orchestrated. 3. Meaningful dreams and spiritual guidance. Another strong sign of divine connection is the appearance of clear and symbolic dreams featuring the other person. These dreams can serve as messages, encouragement or warnings sent by Allah to strengthen or clarify the bond. Furthermore, sudden insights or inspirations can guide one towards the other at the right time, often through spiritual guidance or subtle signs in daily life. Inspirational story. Layla often dreamed of her estranged brother during difficult times, which prompted her to pray for him. Later, she learned that he too was facing similar challenges, and their closeness helped them support each other. 4. Patience and shared trials. Allah often tests the strength of a connection through shared trials and challenges. If two people remain united despite distance, misunderstandings, or obstacles, it shows that their bond is deeper than meets the eye. Patience in these difficult times is a sign that the relationship is guided by a divine will that overcomes all difficulties. Inspirational story. Ahmed and Samir had been friends since childhood, but years of separation and family conflicts had driven them apart. Yet they persevered, praying for reconciliation. Eventually, they reunited, stronger and closer than ever, convinced that their friendship had been preserved by Allah. 5. The feeling of being called or guided towards the other person. Sometimes, one of the two feels a deep inner calling, a kind of spiritual guidance that compels them to contact or help the other person. This feeling does not come from simple curiosity, but from a sincere conviction that action must be taken. This sign is often accompanied by a sense of urgency or peace that confirms the rightness of the gesture. Inspirational story. Sarah had a sudden intuition to reconnect with a friend she had lost touch with. This contact allowed her friend to find the support she needed to get through a dark time, transforming their relationship into a true source of blessing. 6. Harmony in values and spiritual goals. When two people are connected by Allah, they often share an inner harmony, an alignment in their values, beliefs, and spiritual goals. This deep compatibility transcends superficial differences and creates an authentic and lasting relationship. 4. How to remain open to these signs and understand their message. Recognizing the signs that Allah connects two people is one thing, but remaining open to these signs and understanding their message is another, equally essential. This requires a particular inner posture, constant spiritual work, as well as an attitude of humility and vigilance. Here are several practical tips to cultivate this openness and deepen your understanding. 1. Cultivate prayer and the remembrance of Allah, dhikr. Prayer is the key that opens the heart to the divine presence. By devoting time each day to prayer, you create a sacred space where Allah can guide you, reassure you, and send you His signs. Prayer purifies the soul, calms the mind, and strengthens your connection with the Creator. Dhikr, or the remembrance of Allah, consists of repeating invocations or meditating on His names and attributes. Dhikr helps keep the heart awake, sensitive to subtle signs that might otherwise go unnoticed. For example, repeating phrases like La ilaha illallah, there is no God but Allah, or Hasbi Allahu la ilaha illa huwa, Allah is sufficient for me, there is no God but He, invites you to the constant divine presence. 2. Practice patience and humility. The signs of Allah are not always immediate or obvious. Sometimes they manifest slowly, through moments of silence, waiting, or even hardship. This is why patience is a key virtue for remaining open. Humility is also essential, as it reminds you that you are not the master of everything, and that some mysteries belong solely to Allah. By accepting that you cannot control or understand everything instantly, you place yourself in a position of receptivity. This helps you welcome the signs without judgment or impatience. 3. Be vigilant in daily life. Staying open to signs also requires active vigilance in your daily life. This means paying attention to your thoughts, your emotions, and the events around you. Sometimes, a simple detail can carry an important message. A word heard randomly, an unexpected feeling of peace, a chance encounter. Vigilance also involves discerning between what truly comes from Allah and what is simply the product of imagination or chance. To do this, develop your spiritual knowledge by reading, meditating, and interacting with trusted people of faith. 4. Nourish faith and trust in Allah. Faith is the foundation that allows you to correctly interpret signs. Without sincere faith, it is easy to miss or ignore Allah's messages. Having confidence in divine wisdom, even when things seem obscure, helps you persevere in your spiritual quest. This trust manifests itself in believing that everything that happens, even difficulties, is part of a perfect divine plan. It gives you the strength to remain open and attentive, even in times of uncertainty. 5. Take time for reflection and introspection. Understanding a sign often requires perspective. After perceiving a sign, take the time to reflect on its meaning, meditate on it, and ask Allah for enlightenment. Introspection allows you to better align your choices and actions with divine will. You can keep a spiritual journal where you record the signs you notice, your feelings, and your prayers. This will help you see patterns, better understand messages, and track the evolution of your spiritual connection. 6. Integrate the signs into your daily life. When you recognize a sign, it's important to do something concrete with it. It can be an encouragement to strengthen a relationship, show more compassion, renew your faith, or make an important decision. Don't let the signs remain abstract. Transform them into positive actions that nourish your spiritual growth. This integration makes each sign a step on your path to a fuller life in harmony with Allah's will. 5. What to do once you notice these signs? Recognizing that Allah connects two people is an important step, but it is only the beginning of a journey. Once you have identified these divine signs, it is essential to act with wisdom, faith, and patience to nurture this connection. Here are some practical tips for responding to these signs and deepening the spiritual and human relationship they reveal. 1. Strengthen the relationship with sincerity and kindness. When you feel that Allah has connected you to someone, seek to cultivate this relationship with a sincere heart. Take the time to listen, understand, and provide support. A divine connection deserves to be protected and nurtured, as it can become a source of peace, comfort, and fulfillment. Be attentive to each other's needs, be patient in times of difficulty, and always prioritize honesty and compassion. By doing this, you respect the sacred bond that Allah has created, and you allow this relationship to grow in the light of faith. 2. Deepen your faith together. A spiritual connection is not limited to a human relationship. It is also a shared path to Allah. Encourage each other to pray, remember Allah, and grow in religion. Sharing moments of prayer, Quranic study, or meditation can strengthen this union and bring you even closer. The shared approach nourishes the soul and takes the relationship beyond the material world to a sacred dimension. By moving forward together in faith, you support each other on the path to inner peace and spiritual success. 3. Maintain trust in the divine connection. Despite challenges, it is natural for all relationships to encounter obstacles, even those blessed by Allah. Always maintain trust in divine wisdom, even in difficult times. Remember that these trials are often tests to strengthen faith and patience. Don't lose hope if the connection seems temporarily weakened. Pray for Allah to guide your hearts and restore harmony. Trust in Allah's will allows you to navigate turbulence with serenity, knowing that everything is done according to a perfect divine plan. 4. Remain humble and grateful. Recognize that this connection is a gift from Allah, a blessing to be cherished. Be humble before this grace and express your gratitude through prayer and good deeds. Gratitude opens the door to more blessings, for Allah loves those who give thanks. Cultivating this attitude of gratitude also allows you to remain aware that you are only a servant on this path, and that every relationship is an opportunity for learning and spiritual growth. 5. Continue to seek signs and divine guidance. Finally, don't rest on your laurels. Remain vigilant and open to Allah's ongoing signs. Regularly seek His guidance to better understand the connections in your life and how to act wisely. The spiritual path is a lifelong journey. By maintaining this vibrant connection with Allah, you will allow all your blessed relationships to flourish fully in peace and light. Throughout this video, we discovered together that the connection between people is not a matter of chance, but is often orchestrated by Allah, the one who unites hearts with infinite wisdom. We explored the profound concept of this divine connection, the subtle signs that reveal it, and how to remain open to recognize them and understand their message. Finally, we discussed what to do once these signs manifest in our lives. Summary of key points. Allah connects souls with a specific purpose: to create bonds that bring blessings, support, and spiritual growth. Signs of this connection can manifest through synchronicity, a sense of inner peace, dreams, patience in the face of trials, a deep calling, and spiritual harmony between the people involved. Staying open to these signs requires prayer, remembrance of Allah, patience, vigilance, and sincere trust in divine wisdom. Once these signs are recognized, it is important to nurture the relationship with sincerity, deepen faith together, maintain trust despite challenges, and always remain humble and grateful. Encouragement to remain attentive. We live in an often hectic world where it is easy to miss the subtle signs that God places on our path. Yet, these signs are precious gifts, calls to connection, peace, and light. I therefore encourage you to cultivate this spiritual awareness every day, to open your heart to the presence of Allah, and to look at your relationships with a new perspective, that of a living and hopeful faith. Never forget that even in times of uncertainty or difficulty, Allah is with you, calls you, and unites you with those destined for you. Remain patient, listen attentively, and trust in divine wisdom. Invitation to share the video or reflect more deeply. If this video touched you, inspired you, or enlightened you on how Allah connects souls, I invite you to share it with your loved ones. Perhaps someone close to you needs to hear this message, feel this encouragement, or recognize a sign in their own life. Also, take a moment to reflect deeply on your own relationships. Are there connections you've overlooked? Signs you've perhaps ignored? What place do you give to Allah in your encounters? Finally, don't hesitate to return to this video. Meditate on its words and pray for a better understanding. Allah is always ready to guide those who seek sincerely. May this video be a light on your path, a source of hope, and an invitation to fully experience the sacred bonds God creates around you. May Allah bless you and always guide you towards what is good and just.